Morning, my name is Jacques Nelson. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to let you people have my testimony, because I feel that too often we accept from God and we just don't say thank you enough. And we also don't spread enough what God can do, because He can do anything and everything. I was born in 1962 after my mother had been in a tram accident and broken her back. She lost the baby, and while in traction she swelled up, and she couldn't understand that she's swelling, and she was to find out that no, one baby had stayed behind. So she always said I was a miracle child. I was born with a form of polio where my legs were very knock-kneed. I could hardly walk. I had steel calipers on my legs to try and straighten them, which did not work. I then had operations, and through the Belgravia Methodist Church, there was a prayer line set up for me, which I believe to this day helped the operations. I later on in my life became a Southern Transvaal boxing champion. I done very, very well. And this all because people had said to me, you can't do anything. And I'm a Christian from a very young age. My parents, we were poor, but we lived the life that God said us to live. A lot of love, a lot of Christianity in my life. In 1995, I was involved in a play of the crucifixion of Christ at Christian Family Church. About 2 weeks before that, I'd had an arthroscopy on my knee, which is a small little operation to remove gout. As you can see, I'm full of gout lumps. And this operation went septic. I finished the play, and then I ended up in hospital. I was quite a strapping chap of 148 kilos. When I came out after 19 days in ICU, the doctor had said to me, Mr. Nelson, you are a Christian. Go home and be with your family, because we can do nothing with you. Go and, if you have to pass on in your house. You don't want to die in a hospital. Just before I left ICU, I actually passed away, and I was clinically dead for 35 minutes. When I passed away, I actually floated above my body, and I could see these people working on me. And everything went black. And I appeared in a place that I know to have been heaven. But I entered the place that was, I can only describe it as cotton wool. It was the most beautiful, brightest white. There was nothing. It was as though you were sitting on these clouds. But the atmosphere was the most utter peace and tranquility that you could ever have. I didn't have a bit of pain where I was on the highest doses of morphine. I just relaxed there. And I heard my earthly father's voice. It said to me, son, you're home. Now, my father had passed away. Why? I don't know his voice. I suppose it was to make a person relax. And I said, no, Daddy, I can't. My kids are small. And which I know to be God, had then said to me, you're home. You've come home. You're here. I said, no, please, I want to go back. The next moment I was on a trip down again. On the way down, I had a funny dream which I was walking through the hospital, and everyone I touched, I would say to them, Jesus heals you. And I emptied the hospital. I woke up, I spent another about 3 or 4 days in the ICU before the doctor sent me home. And he said to me, look, we can't do anything more for you. But he made an appointment for 2 weeks. He said, if you're still alive in 2 weeks, I'd like to see you. Within 3 days, I was back at work. My boss chased me home. I said, no, I'm working. I was as weak as a twig. But I went back to work, because that's how I was brought up. You don't give up. God is there for you, you don't give up. 2 weeks later, I went to see the doctor, and when I walked into the room, the lady there nearly had a heart attack. She said to me, she can't believe I'm alive. The doctor, Dr. J.J. Kritzinger at Garden City Clinic, is also a very stout Christian. In fact, he was a pastor. When he saw me, he just took me into his arms and said to me, "Can't believe I'm alive." We had a long chat, and I explained to him that, I'm just very tired. And then I said to him, "But doctor, I had the most beautiful dream." And this man burst into tears. He said to me, "You know what? You have actually been where we all want to go." And I at first didn't comprehend, because to me it was a dream. Then he explained to me, and he said to me, "My son, you must also know that God has given you an anointing of healing." Well, this was basically too much for me to comprehend. And as I say, I was in Christian Family Church, and we had very strong cell groups, and I did speak to the pastor about it, and the cell groups as well. Within about 4 months, I was back to my former self. I was actually training again to go to the Olympic Games in 1996. And I can only attribute all this to God, because there's no way that I earthly could have achieved what I achieved. Your body can't just heal from nothing back to something, and actually to a big thing.